Ladies, gentlemen, Bat family out there, welcome to a bonus The Batman video. Now this one, we're gonna have a bit of fun with today. I don't think it's going to be a mega long video. I say that because I sometimes say that, and as per the channel name, I still managed to ramble for quite a while. You guys have suggested me going over certain things that didn't quite make the cut for the Batman movie that could still be used and seen and maybe even reserved for the Batman Part 2, and just my overall thoughts on them. So I have scoured both of the kind of resources that I have, the script book. There's something in there that will make sense in a few minutes with something I really want to see in Part 2. And then there is a few things in here which we have spoken about here and there over the past year. But I thought I would kind of collect them all in today's video for genuine things that didn't make the cut. And some of them are kind of like, well, wait, why didn't it? So I hope you guys enjoy this little Batman bonus video. I would love to know your thoughts on my thoughts down in that comment section. Give me a like on this video if you do enjoy it. It really helps out, and consider subscribing, obviously, to stay up to date with anything freaking Matt Reeves Batverse related. So number one is, of course, the Batarang, or should I say the Batarang Mark 6. So clearly, as you can see here, these were considered for the movie, as we have a literal design showing Bruce's sketches of ballistic tests for the durability of the suit. That's something that is actually in the Batcave, and also to see how strong the Batarangs are and what kind of metal they could penetrate in this sheet here. So honestly, I'm not sure why we didn't get these Batarangs in the movie. I mean, they're Mark 6, so it's not like Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, Mark 4, not Mark 5. This is like the 6th iteration Bruce Wayne has done with designs, and I feel like it is a practical weapon, obviously, that Batman can use. Like, we're all very, very used to Batman having Batarangs. Especially during combat scenes, we can see this work even with, yes, a grounded Robert Pattinson Batman. It's not like Batarangs are fantastical additions to his gadget arsenal here. I mean, imagine the train gang fight scene towards the beginning of the movie, where you're getting a bit overwhelmed by thugs, as Batman does, and I can imagine him basically flinging out a couple of them, as you kind of do in Arkham games, for example, to just do some surface level flesh wounds. Wounds that aren't remotely lethal to them. Sure, they might need a stitch or two, and that would take out a couple of thugs from the fight temporarily. Because in that beginning fight scene, all while I love what they showed with Bruce Wayne's Batman and how he is kind of getting overwhelmed, like he's got multiple people around him, he did get hit a couple of times in the head. If he just flung a Batarang or two at their shoulder, their leg, somewhere like that, that would be sick. So I really hope, I really hope we do get these in the sequel. I think the design for them is fine. I think they're pretty good looking, but I would kind of like to see a few other concepts for Robert Pattinson's Batarangs. Maybe ones that actually resemble his Bat emblem a little bit more. These actually remind me more of like Ben Affleck-esque Bat logo Batarangs. Not that I have an issue with that, it's just, hey, yeah, they're cool, but let's see a few more. Now, to try and imagine why they weren't included or why they didn't make the cut for the Batman, I can't imagine it's not for any lack of realism aspect to it, because, you know, Bruce can throw these with precision. With training, as in real life, you can literally execute throws with equipment like this very, very well, and given Batman's backstory, I would like to think that Bruce, yes, can throw a Batarang, unlike myself, who would probably try and throw it, but end up hitting my boy Jim in the eyeball. So I don't think a lack of realism would be the answer. And perhaps they weren't used in the end because they intend to use these in the sequel movie to show Batman's evolution of not only the suit, but gadgets over time. Now, one thing I've also found interesting about Bruce Wayne's sketches here is that I've always imagined, through what you're seeing on screen right now, is that even though this spring-loaded machine here is designed to slingshot the Batarangs during the ballistic tests in the Batcave and is likely only probably meant to be used for that, is that maybe, just maybe, they wanted to fit a mechanism on his wrist/fan brace, if you will, in where he could somewhat aim at somebody and it kind of slingshots it out at the target. That way, you kind of mix in, okay, sure, you can fling them yourself, and people can do that in real life, but you can also maybe just aim at whatever you want, and it's spring-loaded, kind of propels out their slingshots at whatever you're after. And maybe some of you will like that, maybe some of you won't. The one thing I do acknowledge with that is that it doesn't really show an element of skill from Batman. And you do see something similar in the Batcave to what's being used to slingshot the Batarangs in this concept art. So I'm not sure if this is meant to be that, and whatever's blurred out there could be some Batarang prototypes. I'm not sure if they really do fit the shape, but there are lots of little things on the set of the Batcave that we really didn't get to see so much in the movie that are actually there. For example, there's an alternative grapple hook harpoon here, which Bruce didn't actually end up using, or he did end up using earlier on that we never got to see in the movie, but the mechanism in the movie is quite different than the one that is seen in this concept art book and actually produced and lying on the workbench in the Batcave and abandoned. So you never know. The Batarangs could actually exist beyond the concept art pages, but my final thoughts on this one, because I've been going on about it for a while, is please, Matt Reeves, give us Batarangs in the sequel. I really don't see why not, even if we barely see it get used. It could be used in the scene easily to just distract some goons. Okay, so the second thing that didn't make the cut for the movie that could make the future sequels and may end up in the world of the Batman in one way or another is the compact nunchuck, or should I say, the Batchucks. So what we have here, as you can tell, are nunchucks, as I just said, Batchucks, and as it's described in the pages, it has details of being spring-loaded, you twist the lengths of the handle to unlock it, and, you know, what we saw Batman use in the movie, and Batman primarily use in the source material, is just his hand-to-hand combat, which is very, very normal for Bruce Wayne. In the movie, we had the addition of the finger taser, which was really, really cool. That's kind of a rip of, like, the shock gloves that we've seen before, and him occasionally using his grapple hook to take out targets, such as in the Iceberg Lounge. I love the, you know, innovative thinking that Bruce has there, just using anything he can. Again, which is why he needs Batarangs to fling out there. But with the Batchucks here, that were actually, you know, designed, I have to admit, it would have been really cool to see Pattinson's Batman use nunchucks like this, and it would have been really probably very brutal as well. So imagine, again, the train station fight scene and how brutal Pattinson's Batman was there. But imagine he had a frickin' nunchuck where he could apply lethal kind of force to people. I think that, I know that scene was brutal already with the relentless punches, but just imagining this metallic object being used, oh my. But perhaps because even though he has the taser, the use of the grapple hooks, this might have come across a bit too Robin-esque, if you will. Maybe this was designed and considered to be actually used in the movie because Bruce Wayne is still very early on. He's only in year 2. Maybe since Batman just uses hand-to-hand combat most of the time, if he used it once in the movie, I think the audience would kind of think, why doesn't he just use it all the time? And then it would kind of come across a bit Daredevil-esque. And that's true. Like, you could arguably say, why doesn't Batman literally use, you know, nunchucks or some kind of baton like we see the Robins use? So maybe they did skip over it for reasons like that, but I still think it could make an appearance if and only if we do have maybe the addition of what the rumors are out there that we could be seeing a Robin in the Batman trilogy. Heavy emphasis on rumors there. But let me know what you think of the Batchucks, and if they could return again in the sequel, and maybe with a Robin using them. Now, number 3, this one's almost cheating a little bit because it was technically in the movie in Batman's holster, and that is the sticky bomb gun, because we do see it in merch, we do see it in high quality statues for the Batman, but we never see him use this beautiful, gorgeous looking device. And I'm saying that because look how amazing these concept art, you know, sketches are that technically Bruce Wayne did himself within the canon, if you will. Now, what we did see is we saw him use the sticky bomb ammunition when he used it to set off the smoke from the pipes in the rafters at Gotham Square Garden. As it says here, in the concept art book, we have sticky bombs that can either be placed and set by hand, or they can be fired from the cartridge, all set off by air pressure. Now, I'm willing to bet that Batman in the movie did actually use the sticky bomb gun to set off a bunch bunch of sticky bombs on the glass ceiling above the rafters, if you remember, where a bunch of bombs went like they all exploded at once, and then he broke through, and that's where the dun, dun. So I think in that moment, he probably fired a bunch of sticky bombs from the sticky bomb gun, from the sticky bomb cartridges. It's just that we didn't see it. Now, as a result of that, I do hope that since this is technically a Schrodinger's frickin' sticky bomb gun situation, that we do actually see it get used in the second movie. Let us see him equip the gun, aim at something, and fire it. Where maybe Bruce is looking above an operation from the Penguin. He sets 5 sticky bomb charges, not necessarily to hurt anyone, but maybe to disorient them, and everyone's like, wait, okay, what the hell is happening? And before you know it, Batman's appearing there before their very face with hand-to-hand combat, and he's got the element of surprise. And again, I love the details on the sketches in the concept art books. You have Bruce just writing down here, can Alfred source the dials, like the dials on the sticky bomb gun? So up next, as for the bat suit, I've tried scouring a lot of places, and don't get me wrong, there are different concept designs for the suit, but I would say they're more subtly different concepts for what we actually got in the movie, and I wouldn't say they really stray away massively. Some concepts show this somewhat different lightweight material. There's no collar there, a different bat emblem, which isn't actually a blade. Now, we could see some of this be incorporated into a suit upgrade in the future, even though this is more of a raw concept for what we actually did get in the movie. We could be getting a new bat emblem potentially. I really love the one we've got, although I would maybe make some minute changes, maybe make the ears a little bit more prominent. Maybe some of the material can be changed, but then again, I do love the suit right now, so whenever you've heard me talk about it before, it's very hard for me to part with something I love so much, and I wouldn't want a drastic change like that of the Batman Begins suit into the Dark Knight, where you have a whole massive different emblem change, you have a whole massive different approach to a lot of it, even though it was sleek in certain areas as well. But I do wonder what they could change. I would like them to keep the collar, even though a lot of you prefer no collar. I think it really adds a lot. So let me know what you think of some of these concepts that you're seeing on screen. Now, some of the largest differences I did see in some of the concept arts here, and granted, this might not have really been seriously considered for the actual movie, but I still take it as something that could be reserved for a sequel movie because it is something that could be easily upgraded, and that is the different wingsuits that we can see here. Now, this one looks a bit more Batwing, actual creature-esque. Instead of it being somewhat of a, not a paragliding situation, but more of a wingsuit situation, it's turned into somewhat, you know, actually a part of his cape, which is obviously the thing in the first movie. It kind of engulfs and wraps around him. But this one, it seems that he stretches his cape out, and I guess you could say in a way that is more Nolan-esque. But there's more fine points to the cape and where he's gliding over Gotham here that are more actually almost a part of an actual bat's anatomy here. But I don't know about it in terms of actual design. Maybe some of you will love it, but there's almost like these little hooks on the end, and I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. But I think what I do like about it is that it is more sleek in the sense of, in the future, I can see Bruce maybe getting a bit more of an upgrade in where his wingsuit actually goes out like that. But nevertheless, we're definitely going to get some upgrades here, and maybe to that of the wingsuit. Let me know what you think there. Do you think the wingsuit will be maintained, just Bruce gets more practiced and better with it for the sake of realism, they somewhat keep the design? Or do you expect them to go with more of a design like this, not necessarily the actual bat creature aspect of it, but more one where it actually looks like it's his actual cape, but actually more him spreading his arms and him gliding like that? And there's an interesting quote here from Matt Reeves in the book, which really does foreshadow what feels to be an inevitable upgrade in the sequel movie, through him saying, it wasn't an origin story, so you weren't seeing him making the Batsuit, but you were seeing what would be more of a prototype Batsuit. So he's saying there, like, the suit we saw in the movie is still what Matt Reeves would consider a prototype suit. He goes on to say here, something that could evolve over time, as he's only in year 2 of this grand criminological experiment that he is conducting to see if he can have an effect on crime in Gotham. So, yep, certainly upgrades coming our way. I just wonder what that will bring. And lastly for this video, there's something I scoured beyond even that of the Art of the Batman book. I mean, there is some GCPD designs in there, and that is the GCPD set, because sure, we got looks at the GCPD with that of Batman's escape, but there was an actual deleted scene of the GCPD that didn't make the cut of the movie, which kind of branches open several things that I hope gets kept and reserved for the sequel movie in at least the idea of it. So as you're seeing on screen right now, and I think this is from like a special features which is exclusive to a Blu-ray maybe in the UK at HMV. I'm not sure, maybe there is a version of this special features that is included on a bonus disc that some of you got in other countries as well. But you can actually see Jim working there at the GCPD command center. And in the script, it does detail in this scene that the police were cracking the Riddler's cipher, spending ages and ages on it, and where Batman figured it out very, very quickly compared to them. And Jim is talking with another detective in where, as it details in this book here, the script book, his phone rings, and it's actually Batman on the phone. And it seems to be right before they're going into the mayor's garage full of his cars, and he's asking if the mayor had a special car or whatever. And Jim pretends that it's his daughter, Barbara, to the other detective. So all in all, what I want to say here is that they actually made a whole set for the GCPD that we didn't see. We saw other parts of the set, but like not this set, and I think that would have been really cool. I remember back in the day on Fox's Gotham, obviously a huge part of that was the GCPD, and I always liked Jim and Harvey going back there just amongst the offices and all the investigation that would take place there. So seeing some more life there in the second movie could be really cool, especially as they actually set it up. It could be natural as well with Jim maybe getting a certain promotion. We're gonna have to wait and see about that, because I'm still just not sure if he's gonna go from like lieutenant to that of commissioner right away. Maybe he's just going to be like a acting commissioner until he actually accepts the job full-time. But then also just Jim's personal life. The fact that Barbara was referenced in this scene that they actually shot, which isn't even a part of the deleted scene. So why don't they include deleted scenes like this in the deleted scene section if they actually deleted that scene? But my point is here, he said, it's my daughter Barbara. I want to see Barbara in the second movie, even if it's just Jim coming home, opening his apartment door or whatever, dropping off the keys on the side, and, he's falling asleep on the sofa. I can imagine, the Bat-versus version of Jim is kind of like that, working very hard, and his daughter Barbara is in college and, looking after her dad or something like that. I'm probably going a bit too far there with my hopes, but it's certainly stuff that they could lean into, stuff that they acknowledged that exists in something that didn't make the cut for the Batman. So I would love to know your thoughts on that and everything else in this video. Let me know which one was your favorite, your opinions on each one, because there was a few ones in where I was like, I'm not sure why they didn't keep it, or if they did keep it, is it going to appear this way or that way? If you have any ideas of extra things that you can realistically be seeing implemented into the sequel, let me know those as well. But that is everything. Would really appreciate a like on this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed the bonus content here, but thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you, Bat Family, in the next video. Goodbye.